everybody, welcome back to Fun Facts of Faith. Today we have a little bit of a literary fun fact for you. So I have to confess that after the kind of education I've had, I'm not really sure what poetry is sort of familiar to a random member of the general public, but I have a suspicion that Robert Frost is on that list, probably The Raven. If I had to pick a Shakespeare, it would be Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day? And although it does not appear on my highly accurate primary source listicle, quote, the 10 most famous poems in English literature, end quote, I would hazard to guess that Ozymandias is also relatively well known. For my part, it's one of the very few poems that I actually have relatively memorized. I don't know why, but that one sort of stuck in my brain. But what I didn't know until I happened to read the Wikipedia page recently when I was checking that I had in fact remembered one of the lines correctly, there are actually two poems called Ozymandias on the same subject. The first is the Percy Shelley version, which is, I think, much more famous, which was published in the January 11th, 1818 issue of the London Examiner. The second is by his friend and fellow poet Horace Smith, and his version of Ozymandias was published in the February 1st issue. And they wrote these poems as sort of a friendly competition between them, possibly inspired by the sort of imminent arrival of a fragment of a large statue of Ramses II at the British Museum. Ozymandias is a Greek name for Pharaoh Ramses II. And these kinds of poetry competitions were pretty typical for Shelley and his literary circle. His literary circle including, by the way, Mary Shelley, obviously, of Frankenstein fame, John Keats, and Leigh Hunt, whose brother publishes the London Examiner. So, you know, if you're looking for a new pandemic activity, poetry competition, maybe. So while history seems to have come down on Shelley's side in the competition, I thought it might be nice to share both versions of the poem with you, and you can sort of come to your own conclusions about which one you like better and who won the competition. Okay? All right. So first up is Percy Shelley's Ozymandias. I met a traveler from an antique land who said, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them, on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptors well those passions read which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear, My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look upon my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away." Okay, and then our second poem, Horace Smith's Ozymandias. In Egypt's sandy silence, all alone, stands a gigantic leg, which far off throws the only shadow that the desert knows. "I am great Ozymandias," saith the stone, "the king of kings. This mighty city shows the wonders of my hand." The city's gone, naught but the leg remaining to disclose the site of this forgotten Babylon. We wonder, and some hunter may express wonder like ours when through the wilderness where London stood, holding the wolf in chase, he meets some fragment huge and stops to guess what powerful but unrecorded race once dwelt in that annihilated place. All right, that's it for today. Some poetry for this rainy Friday. And I will see you tomorrow for another fun fact. Bye.